Good morning, and welcome to the Poor Man's Bodywork series. My bodywork series is geared towards the guys that like to be able to try to do this stuff themselves. It's not the correct way to do it, but it is better than just letting your vehicle rot away. If you want to watch something that's more professional, do not watch this series. The right way to do it is to cut out the bad metal with the proper cutting tools, which I do not have, and weld in new metal. I do not have a welder and I do not know how to use one. My methods of repair, as you have seen in the past, is usually Bondo or Bondo glass. I'm going to be using fiberglass at times, the cloth. I'll also be using the 1/4-inch mesh screening galvanized, also known as hardware cloth, and galvanized sheet metal at times. Hello, I just want to go over a few things on the van here. First of all, there is no leak coming from under the dash on the passenger side. The driver's side is pretty well taken care of, but the passenger side, it's always wet on the carpet after it rains, and there is no leak from the door. There is no leak from under the dash. Everything's bone dry. And I put cardboard down, I put napkins down, everything under here is bone dry. But yet, right here, it's damp, quite damp. It is not coming from under the dash. It is not leaking from the door seal, because I don't know if I made a video of this or not, but I closed this door and I put a piece of cardboard from here and a board to hold it up all the way up to the seat, right against the door. I put paper towels down, and then I put containers to catch any water that could be coming off from the door jamb. Bone dry. Nothing is leaking. No, it's not the heater core, because you'd be getting coolant. The vehicle can sit. It appears to be wet here, but you know, some of that could be, well, I haven't used the van in 2. This feels wet. This is wet right here. It's not coming from the windshield. Bone dry, no water coming down from the windshield. And I just don't know why it's wet all the time. I just don't understand it. Now, I think you've seen, it's slimy over here. It's slimy. It's a white slime. Sticky slime. I can't get this out. Why? I can drill the screws out. I can do it all the way up to here, and that's it. I cannot get any drill in here. Here, I need to drill these out. Why? Because the seat's in the way. I don't know how to get the seat out without it's bolted down to the floor. It seems to be bolted right here, but it's got a lever right here that you can move it back. The seat has to come out so I can drill this out. What my intentions are is to remove the carpet on the front and put the rubber down like I did on the driver's side, and I will show you that in a minute here. I think you've seen it anyways. There don't seem to be any water coming through here. Like I say, way up in here I put napkins in here, towels and stuff, in case if it was leaking up on the dash, it would be wet here, but it isn't. It's dry. So I don't understand it. I don't understand where it's coming from. So if I can remove this carpet like I did on the driver's side, I would get all this out. I'll take all this out, and it would be like it is on the driver's side, which I'll show you now. All right, you can see what I've done, and I showed you this before. This is all painted. There's a little bondo. I remember showing you that. And the tray here that catches water, which does have a leak up in the corner, which I never could figure out how it's getting in. I primed all this, painted it, and everything else, and this side is good. But we knew it was leaking from under here up overhead, but on the pasture side, it's not. But yet the carpet is wet all the time. So what I want to do is I want to do the same on the passenger side as I did on this. Remove the carpet and put this rubber stuff down. I get it at Home Depot. And I think I showed it to you. Look back on the video. You don't know what it was. And basically I just took and after doing the floor, replaced some with the fiberglass and bondo and primer and a good quality paint like I did here, and then used contact cement and put this down. That's what I want to do on the other side over there. But here you can see there's plenty of room. The seat don't overhang, so I was able to drill out all these screws and put in stainless steel screws in here and replace the aluminum. Of course, I had to put a big one here because the hole was, this is aluminum, so it was all corroded here on this trim piece. But I want to be able to remove this trim piece on the pasture side, and I can't because the damn seat's in the way. And if I can do that, then I'd be able to do what I did here. All right, I got the seat out of the passenger seat out. This is the trim. You can see all the corrosion and crap that's in there. It's wet and slimy. It wasn't too bad getting the seat out. The hardest was getting at the rear bolts because it has an apron in the back. But I managed to get it out okay. And I need to put, sand that and paint that. But you can see what I'm dealing with here. The carpet is wet all the time, and it needs to come up. And I successfully unscrewed these two. I could not get these out. I took a finishing nail and cleaned the slots out, but that didn't do any good. So I'm going to have to pry this up, and it's going to make these holes bigger. So I'll have to put washers on it when I screw it down again. There's nothing I can do, either that or glue it down. I put the rubber up underneath that and trimmed it right along and ended the rubber right here. So I ended the carpet right here. In other words, I didn't remove it from the seat. And this one here, I just got stainless steel screws, and I put stainless steel screws back in. Didn't do this one because this hole is too big and I'd need a washer. So, and then this, and then of course here. So, like it or not, I'm going to have to pull that up. Little surface rust there, not too bad. No, it's pretty solid. I poked it. So I'll sand that and put some navel jelly on that. Wait 15 minutes like it says on the jar. Rinse it off. Put second coat on it. Wait 15 minutes and then rinse it off and then prime it. But like it, not, I'm going to have to pry this out, and I don't like doing that. Now I can try drilling these out, but all it's going to do is cause this hole to elongate anyways. So why do that? Just pull it out of here so I can get the carpet out. Actually, I can get the carpet out. That's glue, just like the other side. Yeah, see, it's in good shape. It needs scraping and painting like on the other side. And then I can pull all this out, cut it back to about here, cut it over here, and get this crap out of here. Prep this area, which is probably rusty underneath. And then we'll see how everything is under here. Floor feels good and solid. There doesn't seem to be any weakness or anything, but when I pull this out, we'll know. Everything's dry up in here. I shoved these up in here to see if there was any leaking. Just dirty because it's been in there for a very long time. Good morning. Yeah, it's the next day now. I just came back from Walmart and I got a can of rusty metal primer, which is what I use primarily when I wire brush the frame down of the surface rust as much as I can, and then I spray it with this. And next week I'm going to have to go out and go to Harbor Freight and get that chassis and frame paint, and I paint with that. So I wanted to have this on hand. And then gloss black Rust-Oleum oil base paint for the floor of the 90 Ford. This is not really a body work video. It's kind of a show you what I've done so far type of thing. Like when I did the driver's side floor, I did not video that, but I did show you the after results of what I did. And this is primarily what I'm doing here. So yesterday I was quite busy, and I'll take you over to the van this morning to show you what I did yesterday. Now you remember me saying about the seat? Well, I got the seat out, as you can plainly see. It wasn't all that bad. The hardest part is reaching way in the back and getting the back nuts and bolts off. And they're 1/2-inch bolts with washers on them. What I think is happening is I think it's leaking up under here and running down. And the water was always settling here. I just hit some primer on here very quickly last night. That wasn't rust. It was like a coating of paint, and then it was a shiny primed metal underneath. So this is pretty good. I cut back the carpet, and you can see underneath there it's pretty good. The base right here of the seat is rusty, but surface rust, and that's the same way with the driver's side. The van is a mess, sorry about that, but I've been working on it. I took out the step, and the only problem we got, is we've got a little bit of rust holes here. Nothing major. I had put navel jelly in that. I put 2 coats of, well, I put 2 treatments of navel jelly in here. Navel jelly don't seem to dry up. It's telling you to leave it on for 15 to 20 minutes, and I did that. And then rinse it off, which I did, and then reapply it if necessary, and let it set for another 15 minutes. It turns the rust black, but it never dries. So you rinse it off, dry it up really good, and then I hit it with the primer. I just stuck this on there. I don't think we haven't had any mice problems. And that's the last of the black paint for this, but not a big deal. It's just the extra can I had in the shed. So I just taped up around the carpet. But you can see the floor is in decent shape, and I'm going to be painting, sanding this down. The floor is good and solid. There's a patch I put in, very heavy steel. I put that in about 6 years ago. And other than a little rust here, very light surface rust, it's fine. There was a small hole right about in here. But that's good and solid. This is all solid. So I think that's what's happening. I think it's leaking here. I got to take this panel out. It's the same as with the driver's side. I guess the water comes down from there and runs down. So I got to grind that down and necessary Bondo glass it and so forth. So I think it's looking pretty good considering. I may still remove all this carpet while I got the seat out. I'm not able to get this part out. It's bolted down to the floor with big bolts, and I'd have to crawl up underneath. I'm not going to do that. So I can work out the carpet here if necessary and continue right along and get some of that rubber that I did on the driver's side. I'm going to put this video up, but you know, when I do bodywork videos, I've been taking the comments. I've been mentioned this before, that I delete the in other words, I don't let the comments come through. I disable the comments because and there's always bozos out there that I gotta criticize. You're not doing it right. You're supposed to weld. I don't know how to weld. I don't own a welder. I can't afford a body shop, you know. But I get criticism. That's why I elected to, when I do the body work, there's a lot of it that's not going to be shown because there's too much criticism by the so-called professionals that probably know less than I do. And that's saying something. So you got to remember, this is the poor man's way of doing it. Now, to get this out, these screws came out pretty easy. All I had to do is clean out the Phillip head screws with a sharp nail and take my driver bit before I put it into the drill and give it a tap a couple of times in each one, and then every one of them came out except the one on the end that broke off flush into the metal. I'm going to leave it there because the aluminum, which I'm going to show you, is all eaten away here with the corrosion. And there was a screw in the back here that broke off too, so I'm not worried about that. But the seat was overhanging. I couldn't get any driver, or screwdriver, or anything in there, so it's good that I took that out. I primed this. This had very little rust on it, and then painted it last night, so it dried up good. This seat has a lever that you can, we never used it, the seat will rotate. So you can turn, you know, when you're parked, you can rotate the seat around. So it's sitting there. And the way I look at it, if this leaks and continues leaking a little bit, the water accumulates right in here, okay? I can clean it up good. Unlike a carpet, it just sits there and soaks in it. I'm surprised this was not rusty at all. Honest to God, take my word for it. There's no rust here at all other than just, what you see here is glue. That's the glue that they had here where the carpet is. This is the step rest. Now if you look at these holes here, first two holes are fine. The other ones I had to pull the screws through. So I'm going to need to put washers on top of that so that the screw will hold this down. It's shiny here because I used it to stop the overspray. But you see how these two are, I was able to get the screws out, but I had to pull this up through. I couldn't get these two screws out. So these two screws here, here and here, I had to take them out with a vice grip. And these two, where the holes are here, came out very easily. So this is very heavy, and actually I could almost silicone this down here. I probably wouldn't even need to screw it in, but I want to fix that corner, and it's not all that bad. Like I say, I wasn't even going to show this. There's a little rust here. I used navel jelly on it after I sanded it quite a bit. I used navel jelly. It was a little it was rusty here, and a hole through here, a little hole here, and just a little rust in through here, and everything was fine. So that got navel jelly, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just Bondo it over with Bondo glass, and that should be fine. It's good and solid. Like I say, I don't like to show anything because there's always somebody to criticize, and you're not doing it right. And you know, if I get too much criticism, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the comments on this particular video. And if I get criticized, you know, if you don't like it, don't even don't comment. Keep your mouth shut. Keep the comments to yourself. That's the way I feel about it. And that's why I don't like making bodywork videos. I'm doing it and to help other people that can't afford body shops and is able to do it with the materials and equipment that they have on hand, such as myself. I do not know how to weld. I do not own a welder. I did have one. I never could use it. It never worked right. And we don't have the volt. We only got a 60 amp service here, so we can't use a 220 welder, and even if I knew how to use it. And something like this, Bondo's fine. It's not structural. If there was a problem, as I said before, with structure on this, there would be no van. We would not have it. But because the frame is in excellent shape, other than surface rust, it's just the body. Now on the side doors, you can see that there's carpet here. That's the way it was on the front. I think you saw that at the beginning of the video. And there's no problem with any water here. I do get a little bit of water, not very much, a few drops here from the doors, but I don't get anything up here, so this is dry. And what's been happening is it's been wicking in, so that whole carpet that was in there up at the front, was wet. So we don't have any problem. I'll open this. You probably remember the body work I did here. And these are dryer sheets that I stick all over the place because of the mice. But you know, the last couple of years we haven't had any mice problems. But you remember I did all this a few years ago. That's all sheet metal and Bondo glass and everything, and that came out good and solid. That's the 1/2-inch rubber that's underneath the carpet when the van was customized. That was before we got it. And true, you want to change all the carpet. Well, that's a huge job. I can't do that kind of work. Take all the seats out. I'm not going to get involved with that. The main thing is I want to just keep it nice. And I have the underside checked. Everything's fine. Suspension's fine. Kingpins are fine. Everything. It's just the body. So, like I say, I'm going to leave the comments on this, because I know a lot of you have been wanting to see some body work. And with me working on these here, I'm not going to video the actual work being done on this. I'll just show you as I go along. And today I'm going to be taking this plastic off. There's only a few screws. Take that out and see what's behind here. This is rough from glue, and there was a little bit of rust right here, which I put some surface rust here, but it's all rough and it needs to be, you can feel the glue there. It's, you know, that's glue from the carpet. So I got to work on that. But all this work is going to be done off camera, unlike the outside of the van. The outside, I'll probably video it, but my concern now is keeping this area dry. If I can't keep it dry and it continues leaking in, at least the carpet's out of here. And there will be that rubber stuff, and I get that from Home Depot. I don't know what they call it, but I have a small section left, not enough to do this. And that I want to keep so I can match it up. My hardware store wants like $8 a pound for that. They go by the pound. I mean, they're insane, you know. Home Depot is much, much, much cheaper, and it's the same stuff. This is the leftover from what I didn't use. It's not even an 1/8 inch thick, but it is rubber. And the hardware, Home Depot near me has this. The Home Depot in the next town over does not carry it, so it depends on your Home Depot. So hopefully I can get more of that. Here is the trim. As you're looking at it from the passenger side, entering the passenger side door. This piece is L-shaped here, comes out and around, and this is where the screw flushed out and broke off. And I'm just going to leave it there, but you can see it's aluminum and it's all corroded. It's all corroded. I sprayed oil on this. I did not clean it with a wire brush yet. So when they customized the van, like I say, it was done before we bought it. Then they put the carpet in and they put this in. It's got all this slime in there. This is all slimy. White slime. I don't know what the hell it is. But that's got to all be cleaned out like I did with the driver's side. And after I get this stuff down, look at that, gross. I get this stuff down, it'll be cut flush to the end of this, and it'll be like the driver's side. It'll just have the gray paint on it. There'll be none of this rubber will be going down on the sides, only on the floor. So that's it. I just wanted to show you that, what we're doing. I decided to work on it. I started yesterday. I looked at it and I said, oh, I got to do this. Well, you saw it in the beginning of this video. And I finally got the ambition to do it. And I said, let's get going, you old goat. Let's get going. So that's what we did. Once I get started on this and I get rolling along, there's no stopping me. Alright, that's it on this video. I'll give you a progress report as I go along. It may not be every day. Sometimes a few days will go by. And I'll give you an update on things. Thanks for watching.